Masters Week is finally here, and in this video we're going to talk about how to hit a draw with the driver. Augusta National is notoriously a drawler's golf course, so let's talk about a few things that we need to do to hit a draw, or at least to fix your slice. Before we get going on this video, I want to tell you about a promotion that Draftkings is running for the first major of the year down in Augusta. For the new customers who place a $5 bet, you're going to win $25 in free bets for every birdie that Bryson DeChambeau makes in the first round. Now all you have to do is download the Draftkings app, use my promo code Josh Kelly, that's JOSHKELLEY, and each time Bryson makes a birdie in that first round, $25 in free bets is coming your way. All right, let's talk about hitting this high draw that works out really well for Augusta National. Most of these holes do set up for a dogleg right to left, or some sort of shot that's going to require you hitting a draw. Now there are people that have won the Masters, obviously, that hit a cut. Dustin Johnson hits a cut off the tee. Even Tiger Woods likes to hit a cut. But one thing that you will see these players do that do hit a cut is they'll utilize the tee box correctly. They'll make sure they're teeing up from the rightmost part of the tee box or the teeing area so that they can give their ball as much room to work left to right. So if you are someone who likes to hit a cut, make sure you are utilizing the tee box correctly. But this video is all about how to hit a draw, okay? We're gonna talk about how to hit a draw. And there's a few things that I like to do that allow me to hit a draw. And number one, let's talk about the setup. The first thing I wanna mention is a high tee. Whenever I'm trying to hit a draw off the tee, for somebody especially, I like to typically hit a little bit of a cut off the tee with my driver. But if there is a hole that I'm trying to hit a draw, there's a few things I'll do with my setup first. Number one, a high tee here. The higher the tee is, it allows me to get a little more shallow and extend and hit up on it more and feel like that club is going a little bit more to the right. Okay, if I'm teeing the ball too low, I feel like I got to come down on it and get a little bit steeper on it. And that's going to cause me to hit a little more of a cut. So if I am trying to hit a bigger cut, I will tee it even lower. But for the draw, I like to tee it a little bit higher. Number two, okay, I will close my stance. So the feet, the hips, and my shoulders will be aimed well right of where I want my ball to end up. But what I'll do with my club face is I will aim the club face at where I want the ball to end. Okay, so my feet, my hips, my shoulders are all aimed to the right. My club face is aimed a little bit to the left. That's gonna let me swing a little more from the inside here and swing out towards my target. So to hit a draw, we need a path that's in to out, and we need a club face that's closed to our path. Okay, what does that mean? Well, pretty simple here when we use these three different clubs here. Let's pretend that this iron shaft here, okay, represents our target line. We're gonna use this white hybrid shaft to represent our swing path here. Okay, so this line right here would represent a swing path that's in to out of our target line here, okay? So this club will be coming on the inside of the ball before we make contact, and after contact, the club head would be outside of our target line, or outside of where our ball was. That's all an in-to-out path is. Where the club face is before we hit the ball and where it is after we hit the ball. If we were coming down over the top, the club head would be outside of our target line before contact, and it would be inside of our target line after impact. Okay, so that's a simple way to kind of talk about what our swing path looks like. Now, this would be an in-to-out swing path, okay? But now we need a club face that's pointing in the correct direction to get a draw. Because just because we have that in-to-out club path doesn't mean we're gonna be able to hit a draw. It really just gonna depend on where our club face is. So what we want is a club face that is closed to our swing path, okay? So you can see it's left of the white line, okay? But it's still open to our target line, okay? So our iron shaft, it's still to the right of that. A lot of people think we need a closed club face to our target line, and that's not the case when you want to hit a draw. You actually want it open to your target line, but closed to your path, okay? Because if it's closed to your path, it's going to cause the ball to draw a little bit, but it's going to be drawing back towards your target line. If I had my inside out swing path, but I had a closed club face to our target line, we would produce a big slinging hook or a big snap hook. Now, where we hit the ball on the face of the driver matters too. If we're hitting it off the heel, it can produce a little cut spin, okay? And if we're hitting it off the toe, it will produce more of a draw spin. So a slightly high toe is the best place to hit the driver, especially when we're hitting a draw, all right? So just wanted to bring that up. It gets a little more technical there, but I wanted to bring that up. But sometimes you can have a correct swing path and a correct club face, but if you're hitting it way off the heel or off the hosel, you can see a ball that slices to the right. So we want to make sure we're not hitting it off the hosel. But anyways, this is what we want here. We want an inside-out path. Now I know what you're thinking. I know what we need, Josh. I know I need an inside-out path, and I know I need a shut club face, but I can't get that. So we have a couple drills here to help you swing the club more in and out. This club is going to represent our target line. We're going to bring a ball about 2 feet back, and we're going to have it a foot or maybe about 8 inches inside of our target line, and we're going to have a ball about 2 feet in front of our ball and about 8 inches right of our target line. What is this doing? We want to just have this club head trace these balls. So it goes over this first ball, over our contact ball, and out and over our other ball. This is just a visual picture of helping us get the club swinging from the inside out. And I want you to start with short swings like this, where you're just bringing it up to about hip height and you're swinging up and out and towards the target. And then you can start getting a little bit longer, and it's really going to help you swing more in and out. Another thing to think about is the hands or the club kind of dropping straight back behind you and straight down as you start your downswing. So many times you see people get those hands that start to come away from their body or out in front as they start to downswing, and it comes over the top, and that's going to cause the club to go left. So we really want those hands to kind of drop straight down this way, and now we can swing from the inside and out towards our target line. The one thing I've talked about in other videos is body rotation and how that can really control where the hands go as you start the downswing. The main thing we talked about was adding right side bend to help us to drop the club more from the inside as we start our downswing. Really quick here, we talked about how you can stand straight up and down, rotate all you want and stay in a straight line. But once you get into golf posture, I'm going to show on my hand here, once I bend over in golf posture and I just rotate my hand, what happens? The top of my hand goes left, the top of my hand goes right. So if I bend over in golf posture and I don't add side bend, my top half is going to go left, my top half has to go right. That's why we bend at the side to stay centered. Side, bend, 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 bend. Okay, if I'm here at the top and I don't side bend and I just rotate, my top goes forward, my chest goes forward, which causes the club to get steep and come over the top. So bending at the right side here as we start the downswing can actually help the club drop to our right a little bit and swing more from the inside out. So I want you to feel here a little tension, a little tightness on your right side here as we start the downswing. So feeling like the hands are dropping and feeling like we're adding right side bend here, okay, that's going to help get our club working from the inside out. Another thing we see a lot, okay, with golfers who struggle with coming over the top, casting or throwing their hands this way, just trying to square the club face up. Okay, so when they try to square the club face up by throwing their wrist this way, what happens? That club gets out away from the body and then starts coming in. That's why we need to make sure we're having this club stay back behind us and shallow. Okay, make sure, number one, that your grip is correct. It's not too weak. If you have too weak of a grip, something that you don't see enough knuckles on your left hand, and this club face gets wide open, that's one case I see a lot for people trying to throw the club. So make sure your grip is strong enough. We're seeing a couple knuckles on the left hand here. Another thing we want to see is a straight line up our arm and up our wrist here. If you start to see cupping and that club face gets open here and it stays open here, open would be this club starting to point at the sky as opposed to pointing more at the ground. If it's open, 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 that's going to lead to throwing it. Okay, so just fixing your path isn't enough. I could bring my hand path down here from the inside, but if I throw this club, even though my hands are on the inside, what happens? The club gets outside the line and then in. So I can have a down and a really good hand path, but if I throw it here, no good. So we need to make sure we're adding enough flexion. We're getting the feeling of, okay, at the top of our swing, our logo is pointing more at the sky. And then as we come down, our logo starts to point more at the ground. And that's gonna help us to square the club face correctly. If we can square the club face correctly, then we can get the swinging in to out. Another great drill for swinging the club more in to out would be the right foot back drill. Okay, so we talked about aiming a little right of our target. That's gonna let us swing more from the inside. But if we take this right foot here, bring it back to where the right toe is in line with the right heel, and then I want you to take a look at your target line, and now I want you to make some swings. This is gonna really help you to swing along your feet line and out towards the target here, okay? So it's really gonna help you swing this way and out, okay? You can even hit some golf balls doing this drill. We can leave these balls here, but we're gonna feel like they're swinging way in to out, and we should be able to produce a pretty big draw here. So that's a big snapper right there that I just hit, which is okay. If you're somebody who struggles with hitting slices, you can do this drill here, okay? And this is gonna help you to hit draws all day long. Okay, now I'm hitting these huge draws right now. But if you're somebody who struggles with slicing the ball, you need to get on the range and hit some big slinging draws. Because I always say, if you have a spring that's bent the wrong way, you never try to bend the spring back to normal, because it's just gonna go the wrong way again. When you're trying to fix that bent spring, you're gonna bend it all the way the other way, and then hopefully it bounces back straight. I say that because we have to exaggerate our fixes. We have to make sure if we do swing over the top, we need to practice swinging way in from the inside. If you can do these swings a couple hundred times in a row, where you're practicing swinging way from the inside out, once you go to take a normal swing, you're gonna have a more neutral club path. So a big thing is making sure that we are squaring our club face correctly. Okay, so for a lot of you guys, that's gonna mean a little bit of a stronger grip, a little more of a flat wrist at the top, so more flexion like Dustin Johnson, where that logo of your glove is pointing more at the sky. Okay, and as you come down, it points more at the ground. I want you to feel like you're not rolling your forearms this way to open the club face. The first few feet here, I want you to try to feel like you are keeping the club face pointing at the ball as much as you can. When we get here, club parallel to the ground, this face here should match your spine angle. So your club should look like this. If it's looking like this with the toe up, that's too open. We need it to be here. We see Justin Thomas and other golfers, what they'll do is they'll just practice their swing back to here, and they'll take a look at their club head. That's a great drill to do. Sit here, go back, take a look at your club head. This club should be at about a 45-degree angle, matching your spine angle when it gets here. If you could feel that, it's gonna help you get the club in the correct position at the top. We wanna return the club back there, right here. We don't want it open here because we're gonna have to do something crazy to square it. We want it matching our spine angle when we're back here, and then we can unload and swing out towards the target. Guys, I hope this video helped you understand. I know I kind of talked a little bit fast, kind of breezed through this, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer them. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. We're doing these tips every single week. We're also doing course vlogs, things like that. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoy the Masters this week, because I know I will be. I'll be sitting on my couch enjoying it all weekend. Thanks again for watching, guys. Have a good one.